Happy Sunday, Tampa Bay. We're with you for another week here, like we are every Sunday at 10, talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. Andrew Duncan with the Duncan Duo team at LPT Realty. Always here to give you the updates on everything going on in our real estate market so that you stay up to date. When we aren't on air, make sure to follow us on all of our socials. We are at The Duncan Duo. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. You name it, we're there at The Duncan Duo and would love to have a follow from you and keep you updated on what's going on. If you want to attend our annual appreciation event, it is April 12th from 2 to 5 p.m. at Amalie Arena. Going to have some really cool experiences for our clients. We give away a lot of signed Lightning merchandise, some free shirts and hats. It's very kid-friendly. Our clients, agents we've worked with and partners all get to skate on the Amalie Arena ice and just have a cool, fun afternoon on us. It's our way of showing love to all of you for being, fans of ours as well as clients of ours. So if you're listening to this, you're invited. DuncanDuoParty.com. Again, that is DuncanDuoParty.com. April 12th from 2 to 5. You do have to go onto the website to get your free tickets. And then leading up to the event, you'll end up getting a waiver. Every single person that attends the event will have to sign a skating waiver, which is basically, allowing you the opportunity to go onto the ice. And the cool part is we actually get to have our event after the Lightning practice that day. So that part is kind of cool. We're going to be stepping onto the ice right after our favorite Bolts players get off in terms of their preparation into year playoffs, all that stuff going on. So, again, DuncanDuoParty.com. Would love the opportunity to see you there. Some updates on our local real estate market. Starting to see some inventory creeping up, which are some encouraging signs. So we're the January, February statistics didn't really show a lot of dramatic improvement in our market. We're starting to see some stabilization. You had in our market specifically, and I want to preface this because people will sometimes take what I say on the radio or on social media and then say something about real estate in New York or California or New Mexico or Texas or somewhere else in the country. I'm talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market, okay? We're not the stock market, okay? The real estate market is hyper local. Things that happen locally have just as much of an impact as the things that happen nationally. So, of course, interest rates, what's going on with the economy, President Trump's policies, all of those things certainly have an impact on real estate across the board. But when I'm talking about our market, there's a lot of local factors that are contributing to the opinions as well as the advice and updates that I'm providing. And one of those things, it's no secret, last year we got hit with a couple of really bad hurricanes, one that flooded a lot of areas and then one, from ocean seawater, and one that flooded from rain. And then, of course, a lot of wind damage as well. Record-breaking storms, both of them. So it really throttled our real estate market for a few months because people naturally were afraid of moving here. They were afraid of transacting. Then, of course, a lot of customers were handcuffed. They're in a home. They're waiting on insurance, or they didn't have insurance, or now they're in the they're in the red on their home and they don't have enough money. So it really has caused a lot of chaos for people the last 6 months. We're starting to work through some of that. So we're starting to see more of a stabilization and some buyers coming back to the market, some relocation people coming back. Some of those storm homes have been renovated. Some of them are going through that process. Some of them are getting torn down. Some of them are having, new multi-level homes put in their place that are elevated off the ground. So a lot of that has occurred and is progressing, which helps our market kind of get back on track right in time for our spring market. Now, we're certainly hoping and praying that we don't have another hurricane season as active as the last hurricane season. And, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to perceive that, it obviously lowered prices a little bit. It slowed down the market, and we're starting to see some of that work itself out. So now that has started to work out, we're starting to see inventory rise. That's been one of the obstacles that home buyers have said kept them out of the market. In addition to interest rates, insurance, property taxes, all of those things contributed to our real estate market falling, in addition to the hurricanes, of course. So, buyers that could qualify, that were willing to accept the rate to maybe refinance later, or that could afford the insurance and taxes, some of them jumped to the sidelines because they felt like there wasn't enough variety and enough product out there. We know that we've been in an underproduction construction environment since the Great Recession. The builders have never caught up and started building at the same pace they were then because they're afraid of getting burned. So they've been much more conservative in their construction efforts, as they don't want to get bit by that, even though the demand is there for more inventory. So as inventory has creeped up a little bit, buyers are starting to come back. They see more options. They know that they have a little bit better negotiating power. They're not stuck with one home. Maybe there's a couple different choices that they have. So overall, a slight uptick in inventory is looking like a positive thing right now. Again, an uptick, not a massive increase, not a tripling of inventory or anything crazy. We're not certainly looking anything like the Great Recession. We don't have the distressed inventory. There's a lot of cash out there, and most people are in strong equity positions, with the exception of people who bought the last couple of years. So that being said, what does that increased inventory do? Well, people, unfortunately or fortunately, sometimes don't just look at the financials of buying a home. You might think that they do, just like you might think that you married your spouse because their resume or because of their how they responded to some message on an online dating forum or website. But the reality is there's a spark that happens with a home, similar to the spark that happens when you meet your significant other. It isn't just about math or data or numbers or money. Sometimes it's falling in love. Sometimes it's seeing something and just you can't unsee it and you want to live there. Well, when more inventory comes on, that experience gets created for more people. So certainly there are consumers out there that are very financially motivated, but there are plenty of them that just weren't seeing enough. It's kind of like, if you've ever been single, and I'm not, but when you've been single and you might go out and look at the online dating websites and you're like, man, there's nobody good out here. And then you just kind of give up. Well, the same thing was happening with home buyers because inventory was low and it was unaffordable and rates were higher. You had this experience where buyers would say, man, there's just nothing good out here. I'm just going to keep renting, or I'm just going to stay where I'm at, or I'm not going to move. So more inventory has created that opportunity for more buyers to be emotionally impacted and excited about buying. At the same time, as rates have softened some, okay, so we've seen, a drop in, we're probably at a low point for interest rates in the last year or two. So that has fueled a recovery from people. That's brought some buyers back. And then in addition to that, half the country is optimistic about President Trump and his policies, and that's motivating them. Prior to his inauguration, there was a lot of fear-based stuff going on. You were afraid if you were, someone on the left. You were afraid of what was going to happen. If Trump hadn't been inaugurated, you were afraid what was going to happen before then, or what if he didn't get in, or the whole election cycle and kind of the lame duck president situation we had with Biden basically opting out. You had a lot of fear that was causing people to sit in their tracks. So those things are all contributing to what I think will be a much better second, third, and fourth quarter for our real estate market this year compared to last year. So if you look at the National Association of Realtor statistics, you see inventory climbed. You see home sales are up month over month. You see single family home construction is rising. We're not catching up in some of those data features because of the hurricanes from last year, but I think as the year goes on, you'll see more of that. And there's still a lot of affordability issues in our market. There's no question that that we have some challenges with affordability. Rates have softened, which has softened the blow. inventory has risen, which has given more people an opportunity to quote unquote fall in love. And the affordability, people, again, there's enough people that are optimistic now about the future, whereas a year leading up to the election, pretty much everyone was afraid. Now there's more people optimistic about the future. We have certainty. We know the direction the country is going in terms of the economic policies, their commitments and promises that Trump made that he's following through on. So whether you like them or don't like them, I love them. There are people that are motivated one way or another by that, whereas the period before, it was just kind of stagnation. No one was really motivated or excited to act. Now there's a portion of the public that is. The other thing that I'll mention before we jump to break that I think impacts positively are things that are being discussed that could impact positively affordability. Governor DeSantis not long ago tweeting about the possible abolishment of property taxes. Who knows whether that will get anywhere, but if we see some massive relief with property taxes, that can soften the blow from so many consumers feeling gutted by homeowners and flood insurance costs rising so dramatically. The property taxes go away, or they get reduced, or they go away for certain owners, certain prices, something along those lines, some relief there, in addition to a kind of a stabilizing of the market, a little bit more inventory and slightly lower rates. Again, all of those things point to a much more positive real estate market this year. But there's one wild card in the whole equation that could throw our real estate market for a loop, set us back, and cause more problems. And I'm going to talk about what the one drawback is and how you can prepare for it and what you need to be doing right now. If you're a buyer or a seller or a property owner coming up in the next several months, something you need to do right now. And we're going to talk about that after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show. So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. I teased this just before the break. I think we're going to have a much better real estate market this year than we had last year. But what could be the thing that throws a wrench in it? What can you do to prepare for it? Well, there's really two things, okay? The first one is something you have control over. The second one is one you don't. The one that you have control over is preparation for hurricane season. Now, if we have a rough hurricane season and we have more massive flooding, of course it will set our real estate market back. If we don't, I feel like we're going to have an incredibly good second half of the year. So paying attention to obviously what happens there, hoping and praying that we have a light hurricane season, that we don't have massive floods, that we don't have massive wind damage. Now, how can you prepare for that? Get flood insurance. Check up on your insurance. Make sure you've got a good carrier. Get flood insurance, whether you're required to, which I think is just a horrible way of saying your lender wants you to get flood insurance. Because the reality is, in my opinion, everybody in Tampa should have flood insurance. Your lender has absolutely no clue, nor does FEMA, nor does the federal government. They have zero. They're throwing darts at a dartboard to determine who needs to get flood insurance. It is a joke. It is laughable how much of a joke it is. So if you've been told that you're quote unquote not required, don't listen to those people because they're idiots. Okay. Get flood insurance. The reason you need it is because so much of the flood damage from both of our storms happened to people that didn't have flood insurance, that weren't in flood zones, that weren't below elevation levels. Okay. Rains, overflowing ponds, rivers, overflowing. Again, you could be far away from the water and still end up having flood damage to your home from how torrential the downpour was with one of the storms. And of course, the flooding that happens from a 5 to 7 foot storm surge can get into areas that are not required to have flood insurance per mortgage lenders. So stop listening to your lenders, okay? Your lenders they have no idea what they're doing. They don't really care about you. What they care about is protecting. They care about their CYA, what they can get reinsurance for and what the government will give them back should we have massive catastrophes, okay? They're not caring about you by telling you don't have to have flood insurance. You should get flood insurance. In my opinion, everybody should get it. You should have to have it. But they make amends, and they know it causes affordability issues. So, there's a lot of our people that are told, oh, you don't have to have it. And then they get financially gutted by listening to the man about flood insurance. So get flood insurance. Spend the next few months, price it out, quote it out, have a plan, get your sandbags, get your plywood. Do you know how many people are so far behind? You know how much time you probably sit around on the weekend where you could go and knock all this stuff out and be prepared for when storm season comes? But guess what? You're probably going to wait until the last minute like everybody else. And then towards the end, right when hurricane season hits, guess what you're going to be doing? You're going to be running around like a bunch of other idiots trying to get sandbags and plywood and storm shutters, and you're not going to be able to find any, and you're not going to do it right, and you're going to slop it together. Spend the time now. Take a weekend. Prepare yourself. You can protect your property. You can prevent damage. You can get your flood insurance now. Again, that is something you can be prepared for. The other part of the caveat of what could happen to cause our real estate market to tumble, things we can't control, things like economic events or war, some sort of massive economic downturn. We've obviously been in an up and down stock market, which was very much expected in the first several months of Trump's terms because of his promises on tariffs and other things. So we've obviously got a little bit of rockiness going on in the stock market. But war or major economic downturns are things that could derail our real estate market. But right now, things are looking up very positively. We've seen inflation get controlled a little bit. We've seen some of these costs come down. We've seen an overall approach in our state of trying to cut costs for consumers, even from the property tax standpoint. Whether that ends up happening or not, just the fact that it's on the table tells you that they're looking to try and address affordability. Any progress on a lot of those things really sparks our real estate market. Imagine consumers, let's just say the average, and I'm not sure what the average is, but just knowing the average prices in Tampa are around 400, and the average millage rate is around 0.2 to 0.25. And we know people have exemptions. Let's just assume an average property tax bill of $700, or excuse me, $7,000, which I think is probably relatively accurate, a little bit over a little bit. But even if we just assume that number, and look, that number may be low in some parts of town. Look, you go into South Tampa, that's a low number, okay? You go to the beaches, you go to higher end areas, that's a low number. But let's just assume that number. That's $600 a month of your mortgage payment, or that you have to budget for at the end of the year to stroke a check to pay your property taxes. In most people's financial scenarios, you hear the crying about insurance. The only people that are paying that much on insurance have very expensive homes, okay? So the average consumer is spending way more on property taxes than they are on insurance, but you hear a lot of crying about the cost of insurance. If property taxes goes away in Florida, we see a massive surge for sure. We even if it drops dramatically, or certain homeowners can qualify out, and it's a large portion of the population, even if they make it only homestead or only below a certain property amount, whatever that does, whatever happens there, those are things that could dramatically fuel our real estate market. So there's a lot of good out there. There is still some risk, but I'm optimistic about where things are heading, and my team has been on fire. We're getting calls left and right from home sellers that were unhappy with their amateur hour part-time agent that they hired last year that didn't get it done, that are motivated, that are looking for the best, that look at our reviews, that do their research, that know that we're a 20-year proven track record of success for real estate sales in Tampa. And if that's you, if you want the best, go to DuncanDuo.com. If you want your home sold fast and for top dollar, you want a cash offer, any of the options are on the table. We can help you with all of it. Just go to DuncanDuo.com, fill out a quick form. Someone from our team will reach out, and you'll continue to get an automated valuation of your home every 2 weeks. So, again, that's DuncanDuo.com. And we'll be back after a quick break here on WFLA News. So, talking about So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. Andrew Duncan with the Duncan Duo team at LPT Realty. If you're a real estate agent, or you're somebody that bought or sold a home with my team, or you're simply somebody that's a fan and listens to us right here on the radio, you are invited to our appreciation night. It's actually not really night, 2 to 5 p.m. I mean, I guess some people might think of 4 or 5 p.m. at night. I mean, I know my mom likes to go to dinner about 4 o'clock, like most elderly people. So maybe that is at night for you, and that's just great. 2 to 5 p.m., April 12th, DuncanDuoParty.com. Get your free tickets. Bring your family out. Enjoy an afternoon on us. We'll have food, fun, games, tarot card readers, face painters, giveaways, signed lighting merchandise, and skating on the Amalie Arena ice. It's our way of showing appreciation for all the times that our business has been blessed by Tampa Bay over the last 20 years. So we hope to see you there. Again, you can do that at DuncanDuoParty.com. And real estate agents, you are welcome too, okay? Whether you've done a deal with us or not, okay? For your real estate agent, you're invited. We'd love to have you there. So I want to talk about regulations in the new construction field and how a speech recently by Scott Turner, who's the HUD secretary, is attempting to attack cumbersome regulations. Now, I teased this earlier in the show where our new construction creation in this country has never caught up with the pace that that was being built prior to the Great Recession. All the major builders took a bath. They all got crushed financially, and since then, they have lagged in creating more inventory. Okay, now a lot of them say they would create more inventory. However, the last 20 years, it's gotten much more cumbersome to build homes. Well, Scott Turner is focused on clearing a path for new construction and more affordable new construction. So this could also hugely positively impact our real estate market because, as I said before, buyers today gravitate towards new construction. More people want new construction than can be created. That's just the reality of it. There are people out there that end up buying new construction that didn't even desire new construction, okay? The demand is there. They just can't create enough product. And a lot of the builders are saying that the reason they can't isn't because they don't want to take the risk. It isn't anything to do with the Great Recession. It isn't anything to do with their fear of overproducing and then getting stuck holding the bag like they did during the Great Recession. But it is regulation based. So over the next 4 years, if we see HUD and any of the regulatory agencies really relax standards, you could see a boom in new construction and creation of new construction, which also would strongly fuel sales in our real estate market. Those are the products that consumers want today. They're more affordable from a tax and insurance standpoint. They can have smart home features. They're turnkey. Someone hasn't lived in them. People are willing to pay a premium for new construction. And there's also, at the same time that this happens, the reason it could have a massive positive impact on our market is because we did just get hit by 2 really bad hurricanes. And there's a movement to the suburbs, and that's where the majority of the new construction is. There's a movement outside of the city and saying, hey, why don't I go somewhere more affordable and where I don't have to deal with the flooding? I still love Tampa Bay. I can drive 30 minutes to a hockey game. I can drive, 30 minutes to work. I can drive, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour to go to a restaurant I want to go to. But I don't want to pay all that money, and I want a nicer, newer, bigger house. So there are people making that trade-off every day, and builders being held back. So hopefully some of these regulations, if there is relief on that, we will also see a really strong positive impact in our real estate market. Now, that might not be the same thing everywhere else, but there is no question that we will see that in our market. So I want to touch on something real quick that I ran into this week that I felt like would be important for our audience to know, especially so many of our listeners that live in or around water or, Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, and specifically speaking about Pinellas County because it had more of an impact with the storms. But I ran into an issue this week with a real estate agent who, unfortunately in this business, You have it happen a lot where real estate agents really don't know what they're talking about, and they don't stay up to date on what's going on. They don't stay up to date on the new things that the counties are doing or some of the post-storm things that happened. So every single property in Pinellas County, okay, every single property has a FEMA letter, okay? What a FEMA letter is, this is not, this is not somebody telling FEMA that the house got flooded. Okay, this isn't this isn't your neighbor saying, oh, we're telling the county that your house got flooded, so now you get a FEMA letter. Every property in Pinellas County has a FEMA letter. It is an automated letter on the letterhead of the Pinellas County Property Appraiser's Office that uses their assessment of your structure's value to determine how much your home can be renovated to stay below the 50% rule. Okay, this is like AI. It's automated. Everyone has it. There's no like record or there. You can look up your property that didn't flood and there's a FEMA letter. Okay, it is an automated process based on their assessment for tax reasons of your home. So, real estate agents unfortunately don't know this. Some of them think that, oh, well, why is there a FEMA letter? This house didn't flood. Or why is it, there wasn't an insurance claim on this one? Why does FEMA generate this letter? It's automated. The counties that got hit decided to get ahead of it and make it really easy for people to do the math to determine based on their assessment, the county's assessment. Well, here's one thing I want you to understand. So this is an automated process. Real estate agents, please learn up on this. Please stay up to date on what's going on with your property appraiser's office. Please go to your broker's training. Don't be giving your clients this horrible advice that, oh, there must be something wrong with it. There's a FEMA letter. Seriously, I deal with it all the time. It's laughable. Like, if you're going to be a professional and you're going to get paid great money to help somebody buy a home, at least be educated enough to know what the hell you're talking about. So anyway, going back to the FEMA letter, how many of you guys have looked at the assessment from the county and not agreed with its accuracy, or see homes that sell for numbers that are way different than what the county assesses your property at, which is in arrears, by the way. Okay, so it's backward by more than a year. There could be new sales that improve the value. An assessment from the county is not a complete accurate determination for the value of your structure. The only real way to value your structure accurately as of today, not as of to when they assessed you a year ago, would be an appraisal. Okay, so the FEMA letter is a baseline. Of course, the county and FEMA are going to say, this is our number. You simply have to prove it wrong. You simply have to hire someone to say, no, the structure value is higher than that. Here's what we have for the structure value. Or your land value numbers are way off in this neighborhood because land, comps for the homes, for land have been selling for less. An appraisal. Look, counties do assessments and they assess the value of your home to collect taxes, okay? They base it on stuff that's a year old. They don't really go into your house to see your improvements, okay? They don't know what's done to your house, okay? It is a ballpark guess based on data and measurements that can often be wrong, okay, that aren't up to date. So the FEMA letter is not the end-all be-all. You have the ability to challenge it. You can have the property appraised. You can have the structure revalued. You just have to go through the process. Of course, the county is going to CYA themselves and put this letter out there. And there's a lot of people that have scare tactics over this. Like, oh, no, I can't spend more than that in a renovation. Again, prove it wrong, okay? So my point is to real estate agents out there, if you're helping people look at and buy flooded homes, or you're representing sellers and they're selling flooded homes and you don't know this, you should refer the business to somebody that does. I was talking to a lawyer not long ago who practices in personal injury. And what he told me was that, he gets referrals for stuff all the time that isn't personal injury, and he sends it to other attorneys because it's not his forte, because he's not educated on it. Unfortunately, too many real estate agents try and keep listings and keep clients when they're not educated on how to properly represent them, and it gives our entire industry a horrible reputation because you don't know what you're doing and you give them bad advice. You tell them that, oh, it must have been flagged by FEMA because of this letter. Now I don't know if you should buy it. and they fearmonger the person to death and causes a deal to cancel just because they gave them the wrong advice because they didn't know what the hell they were doing. If you're a real estate agent, you're representing these people, and you've not invested and bought and flipped real estate before, and you're representing them, refer to somebody that knows what they're doing. Okay, take a referral fee. Don't give them bad advice. You're doing yourself a disservice. You don't know what you're doing. You're giving them bad advice. You're not educated on what's going on in the market. You don't have enough transactions, whatever it is. Okay, somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want you to sell my commercial building. You've never sold a commercial building before? Guess what? Refer it to somebody that does. Our industry, it's rampant. There's people out there so desperate, man, they get a piece of business and then they're just going to hold on to it. Like if you've seen the movie Tommy Boy with Chris Farley and David Spade, and how Tommy Boy lights the car on fire in front of the guys that he's selling brake pads to, like going crazy, like strangling it to death, right? That's what a lot of real estate agents are doing with clients right now. They're representing people, and they've never done what they're representing the person to do. They've never done a transaction with that type of product or property. They're not an investor themselves, and they're just not educated because they're trying to be a jack of all trades. So one value of our team bringing to you is that because I have so many people, I have people that specialize in different things. Some people are better at certain things than others, but the real estate agent that takes on a client that doesn't know what they're doing, it's malpractice. I mean, it's why attorneys they stay in their own lane. And unfortunately, real estate agents need to learn to do better. And customers need to learn to fire their real estate agents if they're getting bad advice and they're not being told the right information, or if they prove the information wrong from the real estate agent, fire them and get somebody else. You're just going to have more problems. You probably went with your uncle's brother's cousin's friend or somebody from a friend of a friend, and they just don't know what they're doing. So that's my podium speech for today. Again, if you specialize in something, great. And if it's outside of your specialty or you don't understand it or you're not knowledgeable about it, get the knowledge and get the education before you start servicing people. But to summarize, Pinellas County Property Appraiser's Office, every property has a trim letter, okay, a FEMA trim letter, basically saying what their automated valuation of the structure value is. We all know that if automated valuations worked, Zillow would still be buying homes today, and they wouldn't have lost billions trying to use their automated algorithm to buy houses. Okay, it doesn't work. You need a human to properly value your home. And if you disagree with the county and their assessment, there's a path to do that. So hopefully that's helpful for you. We'll be back wrapping up our last segment after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show. So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. Andrew Duncan at the Duncan Duo, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. At the Andrew Duncan, if you want to follow me, Facebook or Instagram, happy to accept your personal follow as well. But I want to talk about smart home features. Man, when I built my house in 2019, I was amazed. I had my head down building my business that I hadn't paid attention to a lot of the technology that had come out, and I was so impressed with everything that got done on my home to give me, smart home features, whether that's the ability to talk in different rooms, cameras, smart TVs that you can control from anywhere, pool automations, hot tub automations, sauna automations. I've got a great house, and I've got some cool stuff. Well, now it is evolving so much that it's really amazing. So I want to talk through some of the some of the technology that is going to evolve this year and smart home innovations that are coming. So Air Things Renew, it's a device that plugs into your HVAC system, and it basically measures the pollutants, temperature, and humidity in real time of your home. So many people with allergies in our market, that is something, super cool. Portable electric cooler with without ice, designed for extended use. You can literally like roll your drinks to you back and forth wherever you go. Smart light features for Govi's table lamp. It's a fusion of audio and lighting technology. It's RGB-IC lighting. It basically allows the lighting of the lamp to kind of match the sound. Really pretty cool. There's a duo Wi-Fi camera with a dual lens system with 180 panoramic view, dual band Wi-Fi 6, smooth streaming, motion detection. Just the camera technology has just gotten amazingly better. I mean, just in the 6 years that I've been in my home, the quality of video streaming just keeps getting better. The speed of internet keeps getting better to support it as well, which I think is, again, just something, really, really amazing. It's not going to be long, and this isn't in my list, but you see companies, so many AI companies, including Tesla. You've got, a few others out there. They're developing robots. It's not going to be long before you're going to have a robot that's washing your dishes or cleaning up after you. Pretty incredible. There's an AI-powered Roborock Saros series, which is advanced vacuuming and mopping. It's a robotic arm, removes obstacles that allows for deep cleaning. So a little, like you guys have seen the Roombas, right? Everyone knows what a Roomba is. This is one that kind of measures your floor plane, and then when it comes across a device, it can actually pick it up and move it. So that's one of the things I know I have to do sometimes. I click my, my robot to start, vacuuming, and I realize, I left the dog toy down, or I did this, or I did that, which is pretty amazing. Portable power stations. Look, there is no question that's become super important for us. Post-storm, you couldn't find any of these portable power stations. I obviously, I've a whole house generator and then a couple of other power supplies to help businesses and different things that I run. Those are pretty incredible. Smart smoke alarms that also measure, air quality. Smart lock with hands-free unlocking. Like, so for example, Wi-Fi ability for you to just walk up and your lock recognizes your phone and automatically opens for you. Robotic mower, pretty amazing. It's a hands-free lawn care with precise boundary-free navigation. It's four-wheel drive, tackles certain things. There's just so many things that are just coming in. Snow and lawn attachments to, blow off the sidewalk. Again, just pay attention to what's going on with technology. It is advancing faster than we can possibly imagine. I'm a big fan of AI. I use Grok personally. I have people on my team that use ChatGPT. I'm a Grok guy. It's amazing to see how far that is advancing and how that is going to integrate into so much of this smart home technology, where it's literally going to be able to recognize you, talk back to you, communicate with you, read you a story. Pretty incredible stuff happening. So, some of the inconveniences that you have in your home, smart home technology, AI is going to end up resolving that. So anyway, appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you come to our client appreciation event. Again, DuncanDuoParty.com. Again, that's DuncanDuoParty.com. Real estate agents are invited, our past clients, the community. If you're listening to this and you're a fan of ours, we'd love to have you there. Skating on the Amalie Arena ice, signed merch giveaways, free food, just a good, fun, family-friendly event. Again, at DuncanDuoParty.com. And real estate agents, look, I doubled my ad spend this year, more than doubled my ad spend this year. We just signed a deal with Realtor.com for a massive increase in seller leads. We are blowing up, and we need agents to serve the leads. We're generating more leads than we can keep up with. If you're a real estate agent, you're struggling, and you want to join a team, you want to plug in, you want to get coaching, training, culture, as well as the opportunity to work with a lot of customers, hit us up at jointheduo.com. Again, that's jointheduo.com. And have an awesome rest of your weekend, Tampa Bay. I'm going to be watching basketball, March Madness all weekend. Enjoy your weekend, and thanks for tuning in.